My name is Toby Dudley Smith, part of the Xtrackers coverage team, responsible for looking after our clients in the UK, Ireland and the Channel Islands. Xtrackers is one of the largest ETP providers in Europe with over 20 years of experience in index replication. We track over 300 benchmarks across a range of asset classes, including equity, fixed income, money markets and commodities, including many popular areas of interest for UK investors, from core US equity exposures like the S&P 500, market cap and equal weighted indices, sectors like technology, healthcare, factors like value, minimum volatility, currency hedged and thematics. Ultimately, the objective is to provide a simple way for investors to gain exposure to the spot gold price. And while the currency hedging mechanism minimizes the impact of dollar-sterling exchange rate risk, Xtrackers gold ETCs, or exchange traded commodities, are backed by a direct investment in the underlying physical gold. This gives investors one-for-one participation in the performance of the spot gold price, less the management fee. The ETC combines the advantage of physical gold ownership, e.g. exposure to the gold spot price, and minimum counterparty exposure with liquidity, transparency, and ease of execution typical of exchange-traded products. Gold, and in fact usually all precious metals, are denominated in US dollars. This means for non-US dollar based investors, i.e. sterling investors, are exposed to currency risk, and their profits will be reduced when the US dollar depreciates versus their reference currency. The Xtrackers physical gold sterling hedge ETC allows investors to track the spot performance of gold while minimizing the impact of any depreciation or appreciation of the dollar relative to the pound. In case of a depreciation of the dollar versus the pound, the metal entitlement of the ETC will increase and the counterparty will deposit more units of gold in order to compensate for the adverse currency move and to keep the value of the ETC approximately constant in terms of the hedged currency. Of course, the reverse scenario also applies, where in the case of the dollar strengthening against the pound, the metal entitlement would decrease. The hedging overlay is done on a daily basis to maximize its effectiveness and minimize currency exchange rate risk. In terms of the benefits, diversification, generally the price of gold displays low correlation with asset classes such as equities or bonds. Especially in periods of elevated market uncertainty, gold usually benefits from its status as a relatively safe investment haven, while equity prices in particular can come under pressure. Adding gold to a portfolio can therefore help with risk management. It can also act as an inflation hedge. In times of low interest rates and rising inflation rates, gold can provide investors with a hedge against potential losses from inflation. This is because the potential real return on other asset classes that are considered safer, such as US government bonds, fall, and the demand for gold can rise along with its price. On the other hand, if interest rates increase faster than the inflation rate, gold can lose its appeal amongst investors. Investors should also note that gold remains ultimately a speculative investment that can be very volatile at times. Xtrackers ETCs, or exchange traded commodities, are physically backed securities offering investors exposure to a commodity spot price without having to trade futures or other derivatives or take physical delivery of the commodity. They trade on regulated exchanges, are typically quoted continuously during exchanges' trading hours, and can be bought and sold via an intermediary such as AJ Bell. The products are intended for all types of investors, retail and professional, who want to gain exposure to commodity prices, but are also prepared to accept and are able to bear the risk of losing the capital invested. Aside from gold, we also offer physically backed ETCs providing exposure to platinum and silver. And in addition, we have a commodities ETF platform which may be of interest for investors seeking exposure to a broader basket of commodities, so not only including precious metals, but also industrial metals, agriculture and livestock.